All right, y'all. What is going on? Welcome to a little bit of afternoon trading with Bookmap with this crazy day. Tech is going crazy. Before we get started here, we're going to kick off with the disclosure. Bear with me. The material information presentation is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Any and all statements made on this channel by the sole opinions of Options Millionaire channel and should not be taken as financial advice. No financial decisions should be made based on materials shown here on this channel. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. An investor could potentially lose all or more of the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security nor lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Trading is one of the riskiest and most difficult tasks one can undertake. It must be approached with extreme caution. Do not invest any money you can't afford to lose. Good stuff. Be big girls and boys, that's all. So, a lot of craziness here. NASDAQ is up 200 points, or at least it was. It had a little bit of about a 100-point drop right there. It's an 80-point drop. But, absolute craziness. Right now, the S&P is doing exactly what we thought it would after we saw the confirmation off of the retest. If you're looking for the retest of what we talked about earlier, if you want one of the clear signs in price action trading, I will show you something. All you need, forget about everything else. In my opinion, the most bullish sign you could get. Forget about your EMAs, forget about your crap. This right here is the most bullish thing you could possibly have. If you go out to the 2-hour chart and plot you a strong resistance right about here. It's also, there's two things here. One, it's the top of the volume profile. Two, it's a major resistance that we bounce off, that we've rejected 1,000 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When we breach above that, hold bottom wick over it on the 15-minute or longer is better, we get a very bullish reaction. And that's exactly what we did this morning. As long as they hold over 41.64, I'll be looking to hold into tomorrow. If we were able to close over 42.05 and use 42.05 as support, same old thing. I'll be looking for upwards into 4,300 and upwards in 43.80, and it'll be a bullish trend up. So this is the first day to break out of this trend. In fact, honestly, we haven't even broken out of the trend yet. We broke out of the micro range. Breaking out of the trend would be in the 4,200 age, 42.05. So yeah, good stuff. Let's take a look here at Bookmap. Again, I'm going to come down to SPY. There, and bring up a little Bookmap. There you go. I'm going to share my screen here with the Bookmap application. There we go. All right, so if you're on the Discord stream, you should be able to see the Bookmap application here. Apparently, Kamala is speaking right now, live speech right now. I don't know what they're talking about. 41.82 on the ERS. We just rejected the 4,200 area down to 41.82, so that shows the first big rejection at 4,200 in this particular time frame. Now, we have rejected 4,200 aggressively a bunch of other times. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th time to reject 4,200. So it shows you just how strong it is. In the face of today's crazy bull action, I am only bullish today and tomorrow as long as we hold over 41.63-ish, 41.60. Let's call it mid 41.60s. Once we take over 42.05, then I become bullish for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But we got to take out 42.05 and hold over on the long time frames. 41.82 here. NASDAQ is substantially more bullish by a factor of an entire percent. ES is being weighted down by all of the X sectors. XLV is getting crushed. XLF tried to make a recovery but sold back off, so the financial sector is not doing well. It appears that the news of ChatGPT being offered on iOS appears to be rallying the entire tech market. Nvidia is up almost 5%, Amazon's up 2%, and we're starting to see, well, we did see a ton of liquidity pile into the book to bring this thing up. 13.8, all this stuff on the way up. If you go back and look all the way to the beginning, which I can't because I reset my application, is that on this move up, when NASDAQ bounced down here, you saw them pile in a lot of liquidity higher. I know this is just PY, but just for visual purposes, you saw the NASDAQ start piling in liquidity way up in the 13.7, 13.750, 13.780, and then we blasted right through at 13.800. From a NASDAQ perspective, once we cleared 52-week highs, and the fact that we didn't give hardly any nod to 52-week highs, that was a huge bullish sentiment, and up we go. Up we go. That's what the kids call cray-cray. What's up, Edixon? Appreciate the comments. Thank you. Yeah. So from a daily point of view, I'll be looking how we close the volume today to figure out going to tomorrow. Going from there. 13,804 here. We've got 13,800. We've got the POC right there, 13,750, 825 is up top. Let's take a look at ES. ES has this 41.90 liquidity with the big dog still at 41.67. This is the stuff they put on earlier, 41.60, 41.67. Once we bounced off that level and went up, they put this big old fat liquidity on, and it's been there. I made some great plays yesterday that really worked out well. Closing that call credit spread was a beautiful decision, turns out. Sometimes closing a position is a great trade, and it worked out pretty well. 13,805 here on NASDAQ. What I'm looking for after the top rejection at 13,850 on NASDAQ here is a retest of this 740 if they were to come down that far. Now that's 60 points down from here. They've already come off 60 points from the highs, give or take. So another 60 points would put us at the retest. If we were to continue to go up on NASDAQ, I would love to see a retest of the 52-week high level. Just to show that, hey, there's a good support. There's a resistance that's now treated as support. That would give me full-fledged, longer-term bullishness. The reason why I say longer-term there is because it's great to distinguish at what point your strategy lies. Am I bullish on the daily? Am I bullish on the 5-minute chart? Am I bullish just for this one particular trade? It really depends. I had to turn off Twitter today because it's just, when stuff like this happens, you could tell where the maturity lies. Everyone's doing the bull bear shaming. It drove me nuts. I had to get off that crap. All right, NASDAQ bounced off 74, coming back up over 13,800 again. Do I ever play certain option strategies during times like this? If so, what's your favorite? The past couple of weeks, months, I've been doing iron condors and spreads. Those have been my bread and butter. Pretty profitable. Yesterday I had on a call credit spread. I closed on the afternoon rally. Played some calls on the way up to head offset the downside. But yeah, I closed that out. Let's see. Now that's because the market has been very choppy. Right now, this is a pretty strong trend for 2 days in a row. Now, from a macro perspective, we are still not above 4,200. So I am not even longer-term bullish here until we can close and hold over 4,205. I'm just playing day-to-day bullishness, which is what I would encourage you all to do as well. Unless you're playing like an individual name. You're playing individual names like NVIDIA, sure, that thing has been on a rocket ship. All right, here, 41.82. Still watching that liquidity there, right down here. We're right on top of R2 here, holding between R2 and R3. The VIX. Interestingly enough, on this move up, the VIX has barely moved. The VIX has barely moved. We're still pegged into the 16, upper 16, lower 17 area. I would expect to see the VIX down, 3, 4, 5% on such a strong move, but well, I guess the S&P is not even up there. I keep thinking about I keep thinking in terms of Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is up 100 now, 160 points, but the S&P is only up 11 points. How do you come up with your daily levels? The daily levels are derived from price action and the volume profile. Those allow me to track the major pivots in the market. Now, in determining the significant levels, which are the highlighted levels, that's when I bring in the options data. That's when I bring in order flow. If I could figure out a key pivot that's supplied by data, then that's when I'll start to assign the significance of the levels. Nasdaq with a little bounce here. 30-point bounce, 40-point bounce, back up. You're welcome. You're welcome. Another iceberg putting on lower. So right now we kind of are in a dull moment at the moment. I know Nasdaq chopped between 12:15 and 1 o'clock there before finally popping back up top of the hour. So I'm looking for any kind of signs of follow through here. How are the bulls going to respond? I've already got my play on this morning. It was a pretty profitable play. I've been out of the office for a couple hours for some kids' events, so now I'm coming back and I'm trying to decide how is the market going to follow through with this. Do we get a retracement back down to 52-week highs, or do we just keep on grinding upwards? And liquidity is just kind of tap in here. We'll watch the liquidity tap in. Nasdaq has already wiped out all of the book higher. The main level was the 13,800 that they took out. There's a little bit of a pop there, but overall, we've got this little bitty stuff up here. 750 is the main level here on Nasdaq. There's not really much else above. We've got this big level down to 13.6. That's a little far down, though. What's your overall sentiment on the market? I think a gradual controlled sell-off is coming. Well, if we're talking in macro terms, in terms of, a year out or so, then yes, I'm still very much bearish on the macro scale. This is just quite a strong bullish run back up to the top of the range. And, you really need to zoom out here, because when we get caught up in this on the daily chart, everything is, we're, skyrocketed, the top's about to blow off, we're going. But all we are is the top of the range. And this is where being a price action trader really helps, because all we are is just the top of the range right here. Another run up. Everybody was super bullish right here. Everybody was calling for 4,300 in the server right here. And then we sold all the way back off. And here we are again. People are calling, once again, stupid bears. Bears have done this. Bears have done that. Blah, blah, blah. And we've already top-wicked off support, off the resistance. So the whole point of being a good price action trader is just to gauge your expectations and understand what the market does at certain times. And I want this thing to come up here. If we are bullish, we'll come up, retrace back down, use it as support, and now I'm hammering calls. I'm taking 4250s like nobody's business. Nobody's business. But until then, I'm just playing day to day. $13,800. Do the lines of Bookmap represent buy, sells, or both? I personally don't like to think of them as buying and selling. I just think about over liquidity, overarching liquidity, participation in the market. The market is going to tip its hand to what it's doing if you have the data at hand and you know how to analyze that. So for me, what I want to see is participation in the market in general. If we're in a low participation market and we start to get a lot of participation, aka order flow, that's going to tip its hand. That's going to tip the scales and skew the book. Which direction is the book skewed? Is it piling in liquidity higher? Is it coming in lower? Is it straddled where we don't really know? Either way, that's going to tell me something. If we come up to resistance, and on the price action I'm seeing top wicks, but on the chart I'm seeing them pile in a ton of liquidity lower, then it might be time to take a short. But it's balancing what's happening, the present and the future, balancing what's happening, which is the price action, versus what's look like it's going to happen, which is the future, which is order flow. Because order flow is unexecuted orders, which is the intent of the market, which is the future. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just do a nice little dance, a little bit of balance between the present and the future here, and watch the liquidity come in. All right, still hanging out 13,800. NASDAQ's not really moving. ES is dead flat. You can see SPY has been chopping right here under R2 for about an hour or so. All right. Looking to put on another trade for today. Just need something high confidence to me. Look what they just did with 4,200 too. Right here, they piled in 4,200. Top of the hour, 12 o'clock, they piled in 900 orders at 4,200 on ES. Interesting. Interesting. So yesterday at settlement close, actually last night, this current session, which was last night at 1800 Eastern Time, we saw 4,200 come on in a very big way on the book. If you go back and look at 1800 last night, when the settlement opened, we had 4,200 come on at about, what, 500 orders? 425? That was not on there yesterday. So that one right there, that showed me possible intent. The fact that they are opening up new matters liquidity to the north, that told me possible intent. We came up, we gave a little tappy right up against 4,200. I don't think we actually transacted it. We got close. We got to 41.99.25. So we got within 3 ticks of 4,200. Fall back over to 41.70 and change. Now they've doubled down on that 4,200. So they're adding more liquidity up there. And now we have SPY starting to breach test R2 here. And I'm looking to put on a trade as long as this candle can hold. What do we got? What do we got? Contracts are still, SPX 41.73. Trader Day, you're killing me. Love it. Love it. Jabroni. 41.86. Watching this candle in particular, we have a nice little bounce to our NASDAQ. Back up to 13,820. Looks like it's going to go for another test. Nine. So another thing to look at, if you're coming up, let's take a look at NASDAQ. I want to show you all something else too. Another thing to look at here, that if you look at NASDAQ and go to the 5-minute, and you go to the morning high level that we talk about with Linda Raschke, there's a 930 high. So literally after this move, which went from 630 to 780, which was what, a 150 point move. Crazy, crazy bullish move on NASDAQ. We top out. Now look where we bounce. So this is one of the reasons we follow the morning range. Even with a range such as this, and the low range is way down here, which doesn't really matter. at this point, unless we have a massive sell-off. Um, so this is one of the reasons we plot this level. And what this is, Linda Raschke talks about the first hour of the day, you plot the high and the low price. And this is for the NASDAQ. So this is the high price for the first hour, 9:30. We could drop, we go back up, and look what we use as support, this line right here. So it's another little pivot area you can start plotting on your charts to look for where to start. Once you kind of face this scenario of a breakout, because I personally don't like trading breakouts, I like trading the retests, which shows you sentiment. Breakouts is momentum, the retest is really sentiment, and what shows you the who's really in control here. So here's the retest bounce, come back up here. Beautiful support right off that level. You could do it on multiple different names too. It works on everything, not just the NASDAQ or the ES. Little tool to add to your tool belt. SPY is coming back up here. NASDAQ climbing back up. Took that off. $41.87.25. And upwards. Do lines in Bookmap represent buys, sells, or both? What is a good time? What's a good time to start trending a day like today? Usually between the first 30 to 45 minutes of the day, that's when I'm looking to identify the trend. And usually it's done by those lines I just showed you, the high and low of the first hour. The problem about today is that so much happened in the first hour that, I mean, pretty much the whole trend happened in the first hour. So that you got to be Johnny on the spot. And at that point, you're trading momentum, which is what I did. I took a call this morning, trading momentum. You can't wait for that kind of rejection when you've got that much Momo. All right, ES is 41.86. Palantir's going crazy recently. All right, so now in addition to the 4200, now they're adding much up here at 41.97. 41.90 is next. 41.97 is being added. We've got 67 down south. You're welcome, James. Normally, on a normal day, even if it's a normal trend up day, because this is an aggressive trend up day. Even in a normal trend up day or if a range day, I'm looking for the upper and lower bounds of that hour range to start to dive into trades, to start to look at, do I need to play the bounce, do I need to play the continuation? All right, got a little more green here. How are you identifying the volume? When I look at what you look at, I'm not seeing the same thing. Okay, yeah, let's take a look. All right, creeping back up here, they took off 41.97, added it. Look what they did. They shifted up liquidity right here into the 4200 more, and then 41.97 right there. Coming up 41.90. So what I've done here, I want to show you this. What I've done here is with an R2 break, this is a key level. Key, do you love me? This is a key level. So now that we've done two things, we broke above the swing high, which is this little swing high pivot here. We've also taken out R2, which is significant, and they started piling on liquidity higher. So once we closed over this level, that's when we go long and close over this and start to get some momentum up to the next liquidity right there. But we have to get a quick close over this particular level. It's a good way to make a little bit of Momo right there on such an aggressive candle with a spike. And if you go onto the 15-minute, right here, what I'm looking for is an increase in price to follow through. Now this candle just started. No, we have 5 minutes left. So we still have 5 minutes left in this candle. So far, this is a pretty weak move overall on the 15-minute. The 5-minute, we show a gradual spike on volume right there. On the 15-minute, we're showing declining volume so far, but it's starting to increase. However, we're still getting a little follow through here, so it's turned out to be pretty nice. It's starting out to be pretty nice. A little bit of climb up, 41.90. $41.89.25. Nasdaq is back to 834, coming back up to the highs again. So with volume like this, the fact that we don't have a lot of volume, I am not going to try to stretch out my legs here and try to get a lot out of it. As we start coming into this other top rejection area, unless I see a spike in volume, if I see a spike in volume with a no top wick, that signs we're going to new highs. We're going to take out the prior and go higher. That's when I want to hold positions longer. But see, I'm starting to see the volume creep in the last couple of minutes. That's good. That's a good sign. If I see volume come up in this area to hit this candle, then I'll look to hold a little bit longer. But you got to be careful right here. But right here is that pivot point. This is that big point, taking out the prior swing low. Especially after this. If you look at the price action on the 5-minute, we have a green that's hammered back down, and then immediately it's bought back up. Right through R2. We're coming up through, finally creeping out that one. We're up to R3. NASDAQ is 836. And they're within striking distance of another high. 41.90 on ES. I'm going to go ahead and trim off about 25% or so right there. Oh. See that? See what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? What the crap was that? Right into resistance. Hammered that candle back down, 41.86. Right there. What did that look like on the old book map? Big old transaction off 41.90. And right there. So that's why I'm saying you got to be careful with that volume. Big old top wick right there. Took 2 off. Nice. NASDAQ just got hammered. It just dropped 30-something points. I believe that's called a hard no. Jabronis. I love it. That's exactly right. So a little disappointing there. I was going for about a 45% win, and I managed to get out with 30-cent profit. But hey, that's why you track the volume. Big old volume spike right there on that hammer candle, which is not bueno for going long. Might close here. The fact that you've had such a large top wick with this now with an aggressive spike, and that was a dealer coming in and just dumping. So a little bit of profit taking or whatever up here. Can you add resistance lines to Bookmap, and do you find it easier to bounce? This is just what I do. You can incorporate that into Bookmap. I know some people have added the SR levels into Bookmap. I just like monitoring both, just because I like monitoring price action anyway, and I'm looking at the screens anyway, so it's fine, works for me. Man, that thing got crushed. So this is a high volume dump. You could see it not only here, but you can see it on the Bookmap as well. Right here. High volume dump right off of that. Now what I need to see, all right, so right now, what I need to see is momentum lower for liquidity. And now they're adding liquidity back down, 41.70. There's a high liquidity environment. They still have the 4,200, but they took off this. Now they're starting to add lower. As CVD is now creeped down. You see this right here? The CVD just plummeted on down. What's the NASDAQ doing there? Down to 800. That's a big old volume right there. VIX had a big spike in green. Nice big double top on Microsoft, Google, and Apple. 41.83. Air Force is going to bid out an F-22 replacement. So be on guard for the big dogs. All right, 41.81, still holding out here. I'm flat on positions right now. Now with that influx of price action, and with the liquidity shift lower, how do they do things? Right back to POC. $41.81. That is a VPA reversal right there on the 15-minute. That's a big sign of a VPA reversal. This is a confirmation candle. So if you are a price action trader, we've got a 3-candle pattern here. 1, 2, 3. This candle will determine how we're going to play this one. This is the reaction, or this is the event, and this is the reaction right here. I should have warned everyone I got in a call so everyone could exit positions. You're right. If I saw a strong candle right on back up, that'll be tough to short because it'll show that we're eating up this candle. But if this one shows weakness as well, that'll be a decent sign to look for another retracement down to maybe 41.72 or so. That'll start transacting this baby right here. But you see the players coming in. Large pressure, large order flow, liquidity shift lower, major top wick with volume supported by 15-minute volume. McHenry says nothing close to being done with debt ceiling talks. Did we think that was over? Even more liquidity right there. Bet. Who's betting? All right. They are starting to add a lot of flow lower here. 4,200, 871. All right, 41.84 here. Now we're coming up, back up here. 15-minute. I'm tracking the 5-minute on the screen below, and the 15-minute, the one that you're looking at right here. That candle. It's 41.84. I'm just trying to track the books. They came up, wiped that out, put it lower. That's 13,775. Huh. So this looks like it wants to do a little retrace here. That's what this is setting up for. It's a little bit of retracement. XLF still isn't moving. I always want to track my X's as well to see if the S&P is going to kick off a move, but they're not moving here either. XLF is staying down. So far it is, yep. We'll see how this candle closes. If this one top wicks, that'll be a sign to retrace to 4170 liquidity, which is what the book is showing here on down. If they can hold that candle and start to absorb, and if they start putting on more up here, I'll be looking for just to buy up that candle. It'll just be a momentary maybe looking. However, even if this starts to climb back up from a larger time frame, which aka into tomorrow, when you start to see this type of stuff creep in, that tells me that dealers are starting to use this opportunity to take profit. So what do we have so far? What do you see so far on this 15-minute chart? I'll tell you what I see. This is on the 15-minute chart, thinking about tomorrow, because I want you to think about tomorrow. I've got one spike in volume. I've got two spike in volume. I've got three spikes in volume, all with associated top wick hammers. These are all aggressive top wicks, telling me that we have now entered into some sort of supply, which is right around 4,200. So even if we do trickle back up into the afternoon, this tells me that people are starting to take profit. Larger players than me and you are starting to take some profit into the 4,200 area. So think about that for tomorrow. Bookmap is still coming on down, 4178. Top wicking on back over. So there's 4181 coming down to the POC, session POC. Top wick again. This will be 3 top wicks in a row on the 15-minute chart if this stays down. All right, nice. Another top wick. I mean, altogether, there's been nothing but wicks altogether, up and down. I mean, look at this range we have closed in. The open and closes of these candles are literally in a 1-point range for the past hour and 20 minutes. Nothing but wicks. All right. Might revisit R1. Yeah. Yep. So from a technical standpoint, this is a bearish setup for lower right here. And obviously this is yet another top wick candle down that closes in 5 minutes. We still have 5 minutes on this candle. Is that true? Interesting. All right. So apparently, I was away from the desk. I don't know if this is old news to y'all. That Green is putting in some impeachment articles for Biden. I wonder if that'll do anything. That'll ever come to fruition. Just reading about that. Just came across my feed. Anyway, we've got 4 minutes here. Right off R2. Still holding. Pretty slow stuff so far, but I'm just watching. This is very intriguing right here. This right here. Looking for lower. Right now, NASDAQ has liquidity shifted down 13,775. A little bit more pressure there. There goes Microsoft on down. TLT's falling over. Amazon's down. VIX still not moving. Trending towards green, but not really moving all that much at all. Right here. $41.80 here on ES. ES support's a little lower in the 4160s, so got about another 20 points here for ES support. That last candle really looked like distribution in my opinion. Yep. Yep. If this one gives out here, I'll look for down through 4170, which is liquidity. But that's a major sign right there. Major sign. NASDAQ's coming down here too. 13 finally gave out 800. Now it looks like NASDAQ wants this 775 after they put on yet another massive top wick as well. So still falling over there as 3 top wicks in a row. Increased sell pressure. Coming down. Looks like they want this liquidity. It's moving pretty dang slow, but still giving out some pretty obvious signs here. All right. $13,793 dropping. There goes 790. Took out the swing low of 792. And then the next target will be 775, both on price action and on the liquidity. We've got this down here, 775. ES is breaching lower here as well. Next on deck would be 4170. And this also, 775, which puts us right here, is also that other pivot. So where we bounced earlier, this will be that retest of that level coming on down. Finally broke down. Confirmation lower, so that's 3 candle pattern, 1, 2, 3. This one confirmed lower, and now we're breaking on lower, which gives us a point of entry for a move down into the 4170 target. So now we see if we get lower. Now we can get to lower target. Here's the first target for NASDAQ right there, 780. Another 4 points on NASDAQ will give us our first test, and then 4170 liquidity on ES will give us our next test. That right there is a sign of distribution. That's a high volume top wick on the 15-minute, which will be number 3, like we pointed out earlier, number 3 into 4,200. Don't bottom wick me. Well, NASDAQ probably will bottom wick off of that just because that is major support. On down to 775. ES not quite there yet. I have another 6 points or so. All out because you don't trust it? That's okay. Why am I live in Discord? I am. I'm in the Bookmap Discord. Bookmap Discord. Here, let me get y'all. I'll get y'all a link. Link-a-roni. And surprise, surprise, look where NASDAQ just bottom wicked off of. Right there. That's where it bounced off last time. I don't know what that is. It's yeah, it's 930 right there. Same level. ES is 4177. Transacted. Did that transact? No, didn't come down yet. And there you go. How can you tell if that liquidity is sell or buying volume? I mean, it's really all about guessing in the, well, not guessing, but understanding in the current environment what that could be. Do we think this is sell or buy? Most likely it's going to be buy volume. Taking profit at target. Buy to close right here at 4170. One needs to be so precise with entries or you get bottom wicked. In this tight stuff, yeah, until you get a trend or a key support level to pivot off of, absolutely. That's it. I mean, that right there, your sentence incorporates what makes scalping so incredibly difficult. As I hit, you have to be so incredibly precise or you get bottom wicked, or you just need to catch a trend and be able to hold through the first 5 minutes of the trade. The first 5 to 15 minutes of your trade are the hardest time to hold, because you're trying to figure out, am I right, am I wrong? Is this going to trend? Is it going to consolidate? And then if you catch a trend, obviously it's very good, but that's that hardest time. That's why long-term investing is so much better than scalping. It's so much more profitable because you allow yourself to build time into the trade and not have to worry about pinpointing a specific entry. Whereas scalping, you pretty much live and die by the shorter time frames. Oh, thank you, Sartori. Appreciate that. So NASDAQ just bounced right off that level again. ES 4178 puts in a nice signal on down into that 4174 before bottom wicking on low volume. We're not ready to make another move yet. Not until the sellers continue. Hope this isn't a dumb question. Why is the liquidity at 4,200 when this seems so clear that right above it's clear supply zone? Well, there's always liquidity at the 0-0 levels. There seems to always be liquidity at the 0-0s. 4,100, 4,200. This in particular, they've doubled down on it, which incorporates that somebody wants to get out at 4,200. That's their target for exit. That's what I would take that as. So whether, what they'll do is they'll put, you could really see this overnight as well, in overnight hours. But what you could do is, what these players will do is they'll set a pretty large order somewhere on a level, and then they'll bid the market to that order. So they'll key their algorithms to make a run up against that level and transact. It's a lot easier to do in a lower liquidity environment such as overnight. Foreshadow a bounce down the zone then? I mean, that 4,200 is going to be incredible supply. And the fact that we come up already and we rejected it for the, I think there's 6th or 7th time today, will be one coming on down there. So, yeah. What's up, Black Beauty? What's game over? You take a bad trade? Let me know if I can help. All right, ES is down here, 41.77. Failing this candle. We have a little doge right here on the 15-minute. Looks like a time for a real aggressive CCS. I mean, not necessarily. The time to put on CCSs are at the highs. So, yeah. Coming on down. Why did I move the chat for users? There was a lot of spam in it. I was having to delete so much spam out of there from the bots and stuff that I got tired of, until I could figure out a bot to automatically removes spam and all that crap, or an app. I had to pause it. I'll put one on after the touch. There you go. I had a short on at 4,200 and missed, obviously. Yeah, you missed by 3 ticks, man. Almost there. I'll take 10 trades on paper, green all day long. I'll take 1 real and it tanks. How does that happen? It's all about your mind, man. The hardest market in the world is the 6 inches between your ears. It's a lot easier. You can see things a lot clearer when there's no risk of loss, because there's no emotion. You could actually see, and you could think like a robot. But with the second you tie in money and the risk of loss, that's when things start to get a little convoluted. Is it reasonable to mainly use the 15 as an entry? Yeah, definitely, especially if you're not looking to scalp everything. If you want to take a little bit longer intraday trade, 100%, 15-minute. Does it make sense to have fear shorting if we retest 4,200? If we go back up to 4,200 now, it would be a little less confident than the first one. The first touch of 4,200, that's where you want to put on a strong, aggressive front run short. The second time, you want to be aware of it, but not quite as aggressive. Wait for the wick and then short it. The third time, I don't want to short the third time. Third test usually means we're going to breach and go higher. Yeah, wider range in the 15-minute, definitely. You don't want to be, I wouldn't necessarily be looking to scalp off the 15-minute. I'd be looking to take on longer trades, 30-minute, 1-hour trades, and even the whole entire day. All right, still dropping 41.76. I'm still confident we're going to breach 4,200. What we need is a low volume test. If we do, like I said, if we're going to be bullish above 4,200, we need a low volume test above it, retest 42.05. So what we need, 42.05 above, go above it on low volume, a little bit of retracement back down, use 42.05 to bounce. Once we start bouncing off of it the second time, then you see a buy volume influx to extend us away. So if you've ever been to an air show and watched the jets take off, like what they'll do is they'll take off, come off the runway, they'll stay very low to the ground, and then when they're doing their unrestricted ascent, tactical ascent, what they'll do is once they come off the runway, about 400 feet off, then they put on full afterburner and then yank the stick back. Same thing. They just tiptoe off the runway, 180 knots, and then full afterburner, pull back the stick, and rock it. Same concept. Same concept. I could think of aviation metaphors all day long. All right, still hanging out right here. We have this iceberg coming on, so I will look for this to breach and go lower. 86, 52, two of them coming on. This shows sentiment, which I would say we're probably going to breach 4170 in the upcoming 15 minutes or so. $41.75. Can you think of cool signs for us? Yours is going to be BBQ. For giving me such an awesome recommendation. Still dropping over here. 41.75. More icebergs coming on, so I'll look for those to transact, especially this 163. It's still a light iceberg, but I do see it increasing. There we go. There's another dip down, 41.74. And we'll see how this one transacts. Now that we have this one left over, but they did spurt down about a point or so right there. All right, whoever this guy is becoming a distraction. So yeah. All right, 41.75 on down to 41.73. Looking for that move there. Nice little absorption of that level. $41.74.25. Hopefully the plunge protection team is on vacation. All right, now not only did they transact that iceberg lower, but look, now they're bringing this iceberg down and they're increasing it 447. So this guy's trying to get out here. Chased it down with 447, dropping 41.73, and here comes 41.70 liquidity. As you see, the order book starting to get skewed to the south here. Still dropping on down. $41.72.75 coming on down. Watching out for 70. All right. I am going to, let's see, 73, 72. What are we doing here? Just for all you hecklers, yes, I am short. I love it. Love it. And the second I saw a bit of green, I sold my short. I don't have the stomach. Then you're probably over-positioned, if I had to guess. You have to trade position sizes that'll allow you to hold. It's not about how much money you make, it's how much money you don't lose. That's what's going to keep you in the game. Anybody can full port and be right every now and then. But can you hold when you're not correct in the next 15 minutes? And you do that, you manage that through position sizing. Down to Ardo 41.72 here. Nice little move. All we're doing is following the signs lower, following the liquidity lower. NASDAQ got down to 768. Man, NASDAQ is coming down even more. Nice. I have 41.73 marked as significant. Let's take a look. Ooh, I'm going to have to hang up the stream here. All right, so that is the top of the hour. Unfortunately, on the Bookmap, I do have to sign off there to allow someone else to come on. Appreciate y'all coming out, hanging out, asking great questions. I hope you got a little value out of it. Let me know if you have any questions. Shoot me a DM in the Discord or an email, whichever. Or until then, I will see y'all bright and early next Thursday, 1 o'clock, if you're so inclined to come out and join, hang out with us, and learn a little bit more. Love y'all. I'll see you next time I'm out. See you.